Hello and welcome to the trial run episode of DS Classics. The DS has proven itself to become one of the most popular handhelds of all time, surpassing the original Game Boy in terms of the number of games available for it and also the number of people that are interested in this thing. The DS has a large install of a lot of casual games that, don't really appeal to hardcore gamers, but it still has a large array of games that are geared directly towards hardcore gamers, and a number of games that are geared towards retro hardcore gamers. So in this first installment, I want to talk about one of my favorite games for the system, and that is Retro Game Challenge, based upon the Japanese live-action show called Game Center CX. In fact, in Japan, Retro Game Challenge is known as Game Center CX, the game. Retro Game Challenge, or Game Center CX, is directly based upon the show, giving you Famicom-like experiences in a new package to give you games that sort of celebrate the 8-bit era of gaming in the 80s for people who grew up with those games or really know those games very well. So, yeah, this first installment, I want to talk about this game. I can't start a new game, but I will go to continue here. So, what you are given here is a list of games that you can choose and play. So I'm going to go to Games menu here. The games start off with, let's see, start off with a game called Cosmic Gate. Let's boot this up. Cosmic Gate is a take on the original Namco classic Galaga or Galaxian.
Good luck, man.
So what you get here is basically a shoot 'em up, very similar to Galaga. Even as retro gaming goes, this game is not terribly interesting, but it is definitely reminiscent of the early days of what you'd expect from console experience. So what I want to do here is I want to close, turn it off. Let's try a different game now. Let's go to the second one, Robot Ninja Hegelman. Robot Ninja Hegelman is a game similar in design to, like, say, the original Mario Brothers arcade, or I don't know. It's really its own thing. What your goal here is to destroy all the enemies on the screen. You can throw ninja stars at them, or you can jump on their heads.
All right.
Attack an enemy, the boss enemy, get through the door, and end the stage. In the original Japanese version of this game, you would play with a fictional version of, like, a 8-year-old or 10-year-old Areno, who is the host of the Game Center CX TV show. Since nobody knows Game Center CX in North America, or at least nobody did in 2007, let's see, XS Games, who did the translations for this game, made Reno into, like, this American kid, and he has these really annoying voice samples. It's one of the only things I don't like about this experience. Now, I apologize for the somewhat shoddy camera work. I am still experimenting on how to film the DS screen. But this should be good enough to just give you a general idea on how this game is played. Alright, next thing I want to do is switch games again. Rally King, up next. Rally King is based on early racing games for the Famicom.
Let's do it!
You have an entirely overhead game. I remember when I was a kid, I played a game very similar to this, and a little bit longer than that, or a little bit over time. I remember there was a Game Boy Color game, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, for the Game Boy Color that was very similar to this. And every time I play this, I can't help but think of that game. Oops, I'm going backwards. Many people would consider this to be the weakest game in the collection, and unfortunately you have to play it through twice because there's not only this version, but there's like a special limited edition version of Rally King called Rally King SP that's also included in the game that's mandatory to proceed through the game.
It's hard.
Just like the Game Center CX show, you are tasked with completing certain tasks before you can move on, such as like you have to like come in first place in like a third lap or something. Star Prince next. Star Prince is a shoot 'em up game, very similar to I don't know, early Famicom shoot 'em ups. Maybe like Star Force. Number of power-ups. The kind of game that, you know, retro gamers always love. Alright, let's move on. Next. There's a Robot Ninja Hegelman 2 that's very similar to the first one. It's very much similar like how Super Mario Bros. 1 and Super Mario Bros. 2, the Japanese versions, are basically the same game, just slightly reskinned. Next up is Gradia Quest.
Game on!
Gradia Quest is a Dragon Warrior 1 clone, where you have a simple party, and you move them around in an 8-bit RPG. If you know RPGs from the 8-bit era, you'd know definitely what you're in for here. So let's quit out of that. Finally, after the last game is Robot Ninja Hegelman 3, which is like a late era NES game with fairly impressive 8-bit graphics. This game is like a take on Ninja Gaiden or something like that, where you have exquisitely detailed 8-bit sprites, but still working in the limits of the hardware. Well, that'll about do it for this video, so I apologize for the camera, but I'll see you guys next time. Let me know which games you want covered.